Have you ever wondered if the version of you the world sees is even you anymore? There was a time when you could live a life without constantly thinking about how it looked from the outside. You simply existed messy, flawed, unfinished yet fundamentally real. But something shifted. Today, without even noticing, many of us move through the world like actors on an invisible stage, performing lives we're not truly living. Authenticity used to be an inner compass. Now it feels more like a public project. This section introduces the unsettling truth. Most people today inhabit constructed selves versions edited, smoothed, filtered, and optimized, not because we want to deceive, but because we feel we must. We curate our words to avoid backlash, our opinions to avoid conflict, our interests to fit in, and our emotions to appear stable, productive, likable. The tragedy isn't that we're faking our identity. The tragedy is that we no longer remember where the performance ends and the real self begins. Inside this chapter, we'll explore how authenticity collapsed, how digital life accelerated that collapse, and how the crisis of personal identity slowly evolved into a crisis of intellectual independence. Because once the self becomes artificial, the mind follows. And this brings us to a strange paradox of our time. The more obsessed we become with appearing authentic, the less authentic we actually are. Why does everyone look effortlessly real, with perfect lighting and calculated messages? Somewhere along the way, authenticity stopped being a form of honesty and became an aesthetic, a brand, a trend. Think of the candid smile, the no makeup look, the I just woke up like this photo that took 48 minutes to capture. Authenticity today isn't raw or personal. It's curated, polished, and strategic. What once came naturally being yourself has turned into a marketplace competition. Your vulnerability must be relatable. Your confession must be inspiring. Your personality must be digestible. Influencers didn't just monetize attention. They monetized identity. What you wear, how you speak, what you believe, everything can be crafted and packaged into a version of the real me that is not real at all. Corporations followed the same script. They advertise authentic storytelling. Real people, real conversations, all produced by teams of strategists deciding exactly how to look organic. We live in a world where authenticity has become so commercialized that even our private lives feel like marketing campaigns for ourselves. But this poses a painful question. If authenticity is a performance, then who is the performer? To answer that, we have to understand the psychology beneath the performance. Why we started curating ourselves in the first place. Why do we feel more real when someone else approves of us? Human beings have always shaped their identity around social reward. We are tribal creatures. We want to be included. We fear being rejected. For most of history, this instinct made sense. Being outside the tribe meant danger. But in the digital age, this instinct becomes pathological. Suddenly, the tribe is the entire internet. Approval comes in microdoses: likes, views, streaks, shares. Belonging is measured numerically, and identity becomes a public scoreboard. The moment we realized we could modify our behavior to receive more approval, the real self began losing power. Why express the truth when a selective edit earns more love? Why show fear, boredom, confusion, or doubt when the algorithm rewards confidence and clarity? You don't even have to be a creator for this to affect you. You curate your texts, your stories, your personality in social groups, the way you speak during calls, the opinions you share at work. You manage your life as if someone is always watching because someone always is. The psychology is simple. We fake ourselves because the world rewards the performance and ignores the truth. But something deeper happens when we live like this, not just emotionally, but intellectually. When we spend years adjusting our identity to match what the world wants. We eventually forget how to think independently, and that's where the real crisis begins. What if losing yourself and losing your ability to think independently are the same problem? Authenticity doesn't collapse in isolation. It collapses alongside the slow erosion of critical thought. When you're constantly performing, you become hyper-aware of other people's expectations, their beliefs, their opinions, their judgments. You begin absorbing them unconsciously. In the same way a performer adjusts to the audience, a person begins adjusting their mind to the surrounding noise. Your inner voice gets quieter. Your instincts get blurry. Your beliefs get outsourced. Soon, what you think isn't thinking at all. It's echoing, repeating, adopting, agreeing. And this is the moment authenticity dies completely. Not when you stop acting like yourself, but when you stop thinking like yourself. Because without independent thought, identity becomes a hollow shell filled with trends, opinions, aesthetics, and beliefs borrowed from everywhere except within. To understand how we lost the ability to think for ourselves and how we can reclaim it, we need to travel back to the roots of independent thought itself. Is the information you consume making you wiser, or just confirming what you already believe? Before we talk about the decline of critical thinking, we need to understand what it truly means. Critical thinking isn't academic jargon. It isn't a complicated philosophy term. At its core, it's the simple human ability to pause, question, evaluate, and decide for yourself. It's the skill that shapes independent minds. The skill that helps you tell truth from illusion. The skill that keeps your identity rooted in something deeper than trends or opinions. For thousands of years, humans relied on their ability to reflect, to analyze, to challenge assumptions. But today, this ability has become rare, not because people are less intelligent, but because our environment no longer gives us the space to think. We live in an age where reaction is rewarded more than reflection. Speed is rewarded more than accuracy. And certainty, no matter how shallow, is rewarded more than curiosity. The tragedy is simple. We are drowning in information, but starving for meaning. But to understand how we got here, we must look far back to the origins of independent thought. What if the freedom to think for yourself was invented thousands of years ago? The ability to think independently is not new. It's ancient. It's sacred. It's woven into the very fabric of human progress. Socrates wandered the streets of Athens asking unsettling questions, not to win arguments, but to awaken the minds around him. His belief was radical for the time, that truth emerges from questioning, not obeying. Plato took it further, teaching that the world we see is not the world that truly is. And Aristotle systematized logic itself, giving humanity a toolkit for understanding reality. Later, the Enlightenment sparked a revolution of thought. People began to believe that reason, not tradition, not authority, should guide society. Philosophers like Descartes, Kant, and Voltaire empowered ordinary individuals to question everything from politics to religion to morality. What united all these thinkers was one idea: your mind belongs to you. This wasn't just philosophy. It was liberation. Independent thinking became the engine that powered scientific revolutions, political freedoms, and artistic breakthroughs. But somewhere between then and now, that engine began to sputter. To see why it collapsed, we need to examine the forces reshaping our minds today. Do you ever feel like the more information we have, the less we truly understand? The greatest paradox of the modern era is this: we live in the most informed age in human history, yet our ability to think deeply is disappearing. Why? Because information is no longer a tool we use. It's a river that carries us, sweeps us, overwhelms us. Instead of being thinkers, we become consumers, skimming headlines, scrolling feeds, absorbing sound bites. The decline didn't happen suddenly. It happened quietly. The education, Systems shifted from teaching how to think to teaching what to remember. The internet shifted from open curiosity to algorithmic funnels. News shifted from informing to provoking. Social media shifted from sharing thoughts to chasing validation. And so we began thinking less and reacting more, believing more and questioning less, repeating more and understanding less. Critical thinking is not the ability to know facts. It's the ability to interpret them. And in a world flooded with instant answers, interpretations no longer feel necessary. But the situation becomes even more alarming when we look at how technology shapes not just what we think, but how we think. What if the algorithm designed to help you is silently reshaping what you believe? Technology was supposed to make us smarter, but it ended up making us faster too fast for our own minds. Algorithms are designed for one thing: engagement, not truth, not depth, not understanding. Every platform you use filters reality to give you what it thinks you want. This creates echo chambers, digital bubbles, where you constantly hear the same perspectives, reinforcing the same beliefs, strengthening the same biases. This is how technology quietly traps your mind. You don't think you're being influenced because influence feels invisible when it agrees with you. But the real danger isn't what the algorithm shows you. It's what it prevents you from seeing. Nuance, complexity, contradiction, reflection. Headlines shrink to fit your attention span. Videos get shorter. Ideas get simpler. Conversations get louder. And real thinking gets pushed to the edges of your life. Technology gives you infinite content, but almost no space to understand any of it. And when thinking disappears, the self disappears with it. Because the ability to think independently is the foundation of being authentic. If you don't control your thoughts, who is shaping your identity? Here lies the hidden truth. The decline of critical thinking isn't just an intellectual loss. It's an identity crisis. When you lose the ability to evaluate ideas, you begin adopting the beliefs of the loudest voices around you. When you lose the ability to question, you start accepting whatever feels familiar. When you lose the ability to reflect, you stop knowing who you are beneath the noise. Critical thinking is not an academic skill. It is the backbone of authenticity. To reclaim your real self, you must reclaim your mind, your ability to question, to analyze, to resist the pull of easy opinions and fast judgments, and to understand why reclaiming your mind feels so difficult. We need to explore the digital forces designed to shape your identity for you. Are influencers shaping us more than culture itself? If the 20th century was shaped by institutions, the 21st century is shaped by individuals, except those individuals aren't actually individuals. They are brands meticulously engineered to sell a lifestyle, an aesthetic, or an identity. Influencers didn't invent self-performance. They simply perfected it. The influencer's life is designed to look effortlessly authentic. Their struggles appear relatable. Their victories look spontaneous. Their morning routines shine with curated imperfection. They embody the fantasy of being both ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. But here's the truth. Most people overlook. Influencers aren't mirrors of culture. They're manufacturers of it. They shape trends, language, humor, ethics, fashion, values, even worldviews. And as they perform authenticity, millions of people absorb and replicate it. Influencer culture doesn't just inspire, it normalizes the idea that you, too, must be interesting enough to be seen. You might not post like an influencer. You might not create content like one. But you perform your life in miniature ways. The edited selfie, the carefully crafted caption, the angle that hides the part of your life you'd rather others not see. We're not copying influencers because we admire them. We're copying them because the system rewards their behavior and punishes authenticity that's too real, too flawed, too human. Influencers show us the rules of the performance. We follow them subconsciously. But influencers are only one part of the machinery. The deeper issue lies in the invisible architecture running beneath everything. The algorithm's dot is your identity. Optimized for engagement? Every time you post, click, scroll, or pause, the algorithm watches. Every hesitation becomes data. Every preference becomes prediction. Every small action gets translated into one question. What version of you keeps you on the platform the longest? And here's the alarming part. The algorithm doesn't just map your identity. It reshapes it slowly, subtly. It nudges you toward certain behaviors, toward what's popular, toward what's emotionally triggering, toward what gets attention. You may think you're expressing yourself, but often you're expressing what the algorithm has learned will get a response. You become optimized, predictable, sharpened into a simplified version of yourself that fits into the machine. This is the birth of the algorithmic identity, a self that exists not to be authentic, but to perform in a way that keeps you looping through the system. When the algorithm learns you like sarcastic humor, you become the sarcastic type. When it learns you enjoy political outrage, you become the angry type. When it learns you respond to motivational quotes, you become the aspirational type. The more it observes you, the more it shapes you. And the more it shapes you, the harder it becomes to remember who you were before the feedback loops. But the algorithm's influence doesn't work alone. It taps into something deeper, the ancient human need to be accepted. Why do we fear being boring more than being fake? Humans have always wanted to belong. But digital belonging is different. It isn't based on shared experiences or mutual trust. It's based on visibility. To exist online, you must be seen. To be seen, you must be interesting. To be interesting, you must perform. This pressure creates a quiet exhaustion, the fear that your real personality isn't enough. So you enhance it, filter it, edit it, amplify the parts that are entertaining and suppress the parts that are inconvenient, complicated, or unpolished. And because everyone else is doing the same, the baseline keeps rising. Being normal becomes invisible. Being honest becomes irrelevant. Being real becomes risky. We're not trying to deceive others. We're trying to avoid disappearing. So we build identities tailored for an audience. We manufacture hobbies, aesthetics, moral stances, opinions, personal growth journeys, and narratives that look compelling from the outside. We have become the directors, actors, editors, and publicists of our own lives. And the sad irony? We spend so much time performing that we forget how to simply exist. But what does this performance cost? What happens to the inner world, the emotions behind the identity, when authenticity becomes impossible? That brings us to the emotional collapse beneath the digital surface. What happens when you spend years pretending to be someone you aren't? At first, self-performance feels harmless. A filter here, a curated post there, a slight exaggeration to seem more confident. But over time, these small adjustments accumulate into something far more dangerous: identity distortion. When you perform long enough, you begin to lose emotional clarity. You can no longer tell which feelings are truly yours, which desires are authentic, which opinions you genuinely hold, which relationships matter, which achievements reflect your values. You live with a quiet internal fragmentation, a self you show to the world, a self you keep to yourself, a self you haven't met yet. And the longer the performance lasts, the heavier it becomes. Anxiety grows, self-doubt deepens, loneliness becomes sharper and stranger, because how can anyone truly know you if you don't even know yourself? This is the cost of self-fabrication. You gain attention, but you lose intimacy. You gain validation, but you lose identity. You gain a persona, but you lose a self. To understand the true depth of this crisis, we need to look beyond the performance and into the psychological toll it leaves behind. Are you anxious or just exhausted from pretending? Most people describe their anxiety as if it's a malfunction, something wrong with their brain or their chemistry. But what if, for many, anxiety is simply the emotional bill arriving after years of performative living? Think about it. When every conversation feels like a test, when every post feels like an audition, when every decision feels public, when every moment feels judged, your mind isn't malfunctioning, it's overworking. The constant pressure to appear okay, relatable, productive, confident, attractive, or successful creates a baseline tension in the body. You're always slightly on edge, waiting for the next evaluation, the next reaction, the next piece of feedback that either validates your identity or tears it down. Authenticity is relaxing. Performance is exhausting. And in a world where being yourself feels risky, we choose exhaustion over vulnerability. This is why modern anxiety has a unique flavor. It isn't just fear of the future. It's fear of being seen for who you truly are and not being enough. But anxiety is only the beginning. Once you perform long enough, something deeper begins to fracture, the sense of a stable self. How many versions of you exist right now? The version you are with your family, the version you are at work, the version you are in group chats, the version online, the version you present to strangers, the version you never show to anyone. Modern identity is no longer a singular experience. It's a collection of masks. Each mask is optimized for a different environment, and each environment demands something slightly different from you. This fragmentation used to be manageable. Humans have always adapted their behavior in different contexts. But what's different now is the frequency and intensity of these role shifts. You jump between identities dozens, sometimes hundreds of times per day. Texting a friend, switching to work mode, posting something relatable, responding to a family message, commenting in a group chat, switching to professional voice, then casual voice, then funny voice, then aesthetic mood. The shifts are subtle but constant. Your mind never gets the chance to settle. And over time, something frightening begins to happen. You forget which mask is closest to the real you. Identity becomes fluid not by choice, but by survival. And fluidity without intention becomes fragmentation at the real self, the one rooted in your values, memories, intuitions, and inner world gets drowned out by the noise of roles. And when identity fragments, psychological stability fragments with it. And one of the deepest consequences of this fragmentation is a form of loneliness that feels different from anything humans experienced before. Why do we feel lonely in a world where everyone is watching? Humans have never been more connected, yet never felt more alone. Why? Because what we call connection today is often nothing more than visibility. Being seen is not the same as being understood. Being followed is not the same as being valued. Being engaged with is not the same as being known. When your online identity is crafted, filtered, and optimized, the relationships built around it become thin. They form around the persona, not the person. So even when people respond to you, compliment you, laugh at your posts, send you messages, they're connecting with the version of you they see, not the version of you that lives inside. This creates a painful paradox. The more attention you receive, the more invisible you feel. You stand in the digital spotlight, but remain emotionally unseen. This is why people can have thousands of followers, but no one to call at 2 a.m. Why group chats feel fun but hollow. Why relationships feel disposable. Why friendships feel shallow. Why conversations feel repetitive. Why connection feels temporary. Loneliness isn't caused by a lack of people. It's caused by the absence of authenticity. You cannot be deeply connected to others when you are disconnected from yourself. And this brings us to the turning point of the entire journey. Once you recognize this emotional and psychological cost of faking yourself, the desire to reclaim your real identity becomes unavoidable. What if the path back to authenticity begins with reclaiming your mind? When people talk about finding themselves, they imagine a journey of travel, solitude, or lifestyle change. But the truth is simpler and far more radical. You cannot reclaim your identity until you reclaim your attention, your thoughts, your beliefs, your ability to think independently. Authenticity is not just emotional honesty. It is intellectual independence. The self is not built from performances. It is built from reflections. Your values, your choices, your worldview, your interpretations of life. These are the building blocks of a stable, grounded identity. And to regain them, you must step back from the noise, not to escape the world, but to see it clearly again. This chapter ends with a shift in direction, from understanding the psychological cost to exploring the solutions. To rebuild authenticity, we must learn to think again critically, consciously, courageously. And that brings us to the final chapter, the process of reclaiming your mind, your identity, and your authenticity in an age designed to make you forget who you are. What if thinking for yourself is the ultimate rebellion? If the collapse of authenticity begins with the collapse of independent thought, then the path back must begin with the opposite, learning to think again, not react, not absorb, not agree, not repeat, but think. Critical thinking isn't an academic exercise. It's a personal liberation. It's the ability to pause and ask, is this true? Do I believe this? Why do I think this? What evidence supports it? What would I think if no one else influenced me? This skill rebuilds the self from the inside out. Because when you stop outsourcing your thoughts, you stop outsourcing your identity. In a world where platforms profit from your confusion, clarity becomes a form of resistance. Critical thinking allows you to detach from the emotional manipulation of headlines, the addictive pull of algorithms, and the social pressure to conform. It gives you back the space to interpret the world on your own terms. And that's the first step toward becoming real again. But clarity of mind is only the foundation. To rebuild your identity, you must rediscover who you were before the noise. Who were you before the world told you who to be? Identity isn't something you create, it's something you uncover. The real self is not something you invent for the world. It's something that emerges when you strip away everything that isn't you. To rebuild a genuine identity, you must return to the questions digital life never allows time for. What do I actually value? What genuinely brings me joy? What lifestyle feels natural, not impressive? What beliefs stand on their own, without social approval? What kind of person am I when no one is watching? Most people don't struggle with lack of identity. They struggle with lack of introspection. They know what's trending. They know what's admirable. They know what's rewarded, but they don't know themselves. Authenticity is revealed through silence, not performance. Through slow reflection, not fast reaction. Through inner alignment, not outer applause. Rebuilding your real identity means returning to the internal compass that has been drowned out by external noise. It requires honesty, sometimes painful honesty, but the reward is stability, clarity, and emotional grounding.